Hey everybody, we are back with our follow-up to the big Scream review episode that we did. We are joined here again with Adam, aka Blame the Movies. I blame the movies, right? My bad.
Yes, sir.
So we are here to review the new Scream movie from 2022. We all have had the opportunity to check it out. Brandon and Adam, I think you guys checked it out twice already.
Yeah.
Nice. So which one of you guys wants to start us off? I know you guys have some significant notes.
Hold on, wait a minute. So I have to start this review off and admit that we were wrong about the killer. We all said it was Sydney's dad.
Yeah, I said it was Sydney's dad.
It was Sydney's dad.
I think as soon as he messaged, or it was either I messaged him or I think Josh messaged me, and he was just like, "Oh man, I guess that shit's out the window, man. I guess that's not him."
Yeah, I had sent you the message, and I was saying after we recorded, I hit you guys up. I have to give you guys a sad news, but Sydney's dad passed away. I guess he died in like a off-screen interview between Scream 3 and Scream 4. I guess Wes did a interview and just said, yeah, he died from a heart attack. So it was like the fuck?
Adam, I was telling Brandon.
Nothing explained.
Yeah, I was telling Brandon it would have been hilarious if when the Radio Silence guys made the movie, they didn't know that the dad died and then they just did it anyway.
They just brought him back.
Yeah. No one would have known, just whoever read that article.
Yeah. But Dave, I think that with this film, I think they made you happy in a way because someone was tied up and put in the closet this film anyway. So it all works out. It all works out.
It all
and she looked just as ridiculous tied up in the closet too. So yeah.
Guess we're going all out spoilers in this shit, huh?
Yeah. So
yeah.
If you have not watched this film yet, this is a spoiler review. So I don't want to hear anything about, oh, these guys ruined it for me. I didn't even watch it yet. It's spoilers throughout the whole thing right here. We're going to talk about the whole film.
We'll put it in the title too.
Yeah.
Dad did it.
Dad did it. That's going to be the title. Dad did it.
That's
Daddy
the title.
did it. All right. So Adam, I saw you volunteer to talk first.
I thought Brandon was going to talk first.
Oh, man. All right, let's just start off with a basic question. All right, let's talk about the cast of characters, okay? Because we saw some interesting dynamics, a lot of new characters, but they're all related to the older characters. And I'm just curious, what did you guys think about this new cast and, in the relationships they all had to the previous cast members? Was there any shockers, Brandon?
I have to say that I love that they kept the relationships under wraps, even throughout the trailers and everything, because it was cool just being inside the theater and you didn't even know what the relationships were, who these characters were. So when we were breaking it down and they're oh, that's Richie's this person and the twins are related to this person, and I'm just all right, that's cool, the whole breakdown of everything. So I thought it was really cool. And going from there, how it just wraps up, because basically this film takes place 25 years after the original killings. So for how they did everything, I thought it was cool. What did you guys think?
Well, just looking at Josh's expression, I don't think he thought it was that cool.
Yeah, look at.
I can't even see his fucking expression.
Josh, are you with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just letting you guys talk, man. I was just sad Dewey wasn't the killer. I was like, man, I'm fucking wrong.
So I was actually just surprised. I think the biggest surprise for me was the fact that we got Josh to go to this movie.
Oh yeah.
We all did something together.
I know. Well, I did, and getting you to go to a new film, a blockbuster film.
Oh yeah, the blockbuster.
Yeah. Well, I was super nervous. Adam, you have no idea. I don't like mainstream media. I don't like Hollywood. And I'm sitting there and I'm and they're oh, the way it's meant to be seen in the theater with all your friends. And I'm fuck, I hate it already.
All your friends.
And then he broke the seat.
Yeah, he broke the seat.
At the theater.
I didn't break the seat. The seat was faulty, Adam. Let me
It
tell
is
you,
a
I
faulty
sat in the
seat.
seat, and when I went to sit down, it was like crooked and it snapped and it broke, but it was already broken when it was a faulty seat. It was fucking faulty.
Yeah, sure.
So did you sit in that seat the whole time, or did you just move?
He did. He went to the
I wasn't
bathroom.
getting up.
He went to the bathroom for the walk of shame, and then came back and sat back in the same seat.
Well, you know what happened? They played. What was it? They first they did the previews, and then they played like something else, and then they did this like 20-minute hype, and then they played the same 20-minute hype again. And I
Yeah,
was like, dude, I'm already in this thing for 2 hours, and we haven't even started the movie. Like it's 8 o'clock movie. It's fucking 10 o'clock. What the fuck?
yeah. We
And,
went to the live screening question and answers. So I think that like something like it was kind of off. I think the timing was off because I think they started the previews too early, and then they end up doing it again. So it was just like, what the fuck.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It was a good time though, but I have to say that was the first time we all went to the same movie together.
Yeah.
We would go separate. Like two of us would go to a movie here and there, but that was the first time that all three of
Yeah,
us.
I know. I've gone with you before, Brandon, but yeah, I didn't.
And I went with Josh.
I don't think I'll ever go again with Josh, but that was definitely an exception. He wouldn't let me sit next to him. He made me sit a seat apart and like made me squeeze in next to Brandon. I was like, Josh. I was like, I wanted to sit next to my buddy Josh. He wouldn't let it happen.
Come on, Josh.
But
the babe was trying to hold my hand the whole time. I'm like, dude, that's not the popcorn you're grabbing. Come on.
So as far as the characters go, to the original question, I'll just say that on my end, I liked the connection to the original characters. I thought that was cool. When they all sat around, they're kind of, telling everybody, oh, well, this character is related to that. The actors themselves, some of them I was not fans of. There was like actually very few that I can say I actually wanted to survive. The main, like Richie, I kind of liked him.
You look like
he was
Richie.
kind of
That's
funny.
why.
What's that? Because I look like Richie.
Like Richie.
Yeah, he was funny, and the Drake guy was all right. I didn't like him at first. The twin, I looked like Drake from Degrassi High. Drake though.
That's
Cuba
Chad.
Gooding Jr.'s son.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. His sister kind of annoyed me, but then at the end I kind of liked her. Yeah, and that was kind of it, actually, as far as
Reasons Why kid. What about him?
Which one?
The one that was in the shower. 12 Reasons Why. That kid.
Yeah,
And 13 Reasons Why.
Oh, is it 13?
I forgot about one of those reasons. I don't know. I mean, that kid wasn't too bad, but just didn't really have enough development, I guess, to actually give a shit about him. And then like the main actress, really beautiful, but I just didn't connect with that character.
I did see talking about the 12 Reasons Why kid. When
you're gonna keep talking about this guy. What's up?
All over social media, there was a big thing like every horror movie has a girl in a shower. This one had a guy in a shower. Yeah. So it was like hey, look, we're progressive. And not a lot of people caught that, but I was like, look at that. That's some shit, huh?
Yeah, because when Ghostface was on the phone, he said something about Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was replaying that. So
yeah. So Adam, I saw you nodding with some of my opinions. I'm just curious if you had kind of any thoughts about the characters too.
So yeah, I agree that although that like first bench when they were like sitting outside was like definitely not like a water fountain kind of connection thing that we've gotten in the past. I don't think that there was enough screen time for a lot of these characters for us to really give a shit. Yeah. I do like that 12 Reasons Why guy, Dylan Minnette. He's because I've seen like some scenes in that show, and he's like a fantastic emotional actor, and they almost didn't give us him. Like I don't think they gave us enough of him, so I was really bummed that he died. Mm-hmm. I got used. I actually really liked the Meeks. I thought they were probably two of my favorite characters. I fucking hated Liv. I thought she was the dumbest one.
Yeah.
That little emo, like she was just annoying. Amber was one of the most annoying fucking characters in this whole movie.
Yep.
Oh god. Richie almost like not necessarily carried the whole movie, but he was definitely one of the greatest.
Yeah.
He just was amazing. And yeah, when I saw this movie a second time, I didn't see it with anybody, so like I got to pay attention a lot more without distractions around me and stuff. And the more I paid attention to like some of the characters and stuff, I was like, I really fucking hate Sam. I think she is one of the most annoying main girls. I really did not like her at all.
No.
Nope.
And so that's the thing. It's like now, if this franchise continues to move forward, 'cause I think they're supposed to be doing a trilogy, right? So
Hearing.
that's what I'm hearing. But it's like I don't think that she can carry like the load of this of being the final girl or the main girl. It's just I don't know.
And the other character I did love was I don't know if it's because of the actress, but Tara and the scenes that she got just emotionally played and how she delivers. Like Jenna Ortega was amazing in this movie. I mean, she to me, she should have been the final girl, the main girl, and Sam shouldn't have. It should have been reversed because I just hated Sam.
Adam, you said about not to keep talking about the 13 Reasons Why kid, but like you did say something that was interesting about him being like a good emotional actor. You had seen him, he was in that movie Open House, I think it was. It was on Netflix.
Yeah.
And that movie, now that you say that, he did a really good job in that movie. I don't think it was a perfect movie, but like he had to do a lot with, just hearing a sound and like conveying like certain emotions, and he did really good. So I think you're right. They didn't really give us a chance to see him more. And I think like he could have been, I don't know. He was like almost like Jamie Kennedy's character a little bit, but like in the neurotic version of him, because he was like super like cautious, and I don't know. He had quirkiness, is what I mean. And I think we could have really gotten some laughs with that, and also just seen that play out more. And they cut that out.
I think he had a good like a few lines, when he was sitting there saying, well, Dewey, it could be you because you really don't have a lot going on. You lost.
Yeah.
And Dewey's like, well, you could have been the killer because
that cut deep. Dude, oh yeah, man. Like even if like not a lot of these characters had too much screen, like some of the scenes, especially that one, like the interactions that they do have are very good.
And even his kill, even the way he died, like, I think that set the tone for like Ghostface in this movie, like, because you're just like, oh shit, and you see like the knife just going through his fucking neck. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, a lot of neck kills in this. I mean, yes, only a couple, but
the kills.
Very
Let's go
stabby.
to the kills, man.
Wait,
how often were the kills, right?
Wait, because there's a thing, because with this franchise, we always talked about it, the way that this film starts off, the opening sequence and everything like that. So what did you guys think of the opening scene of this film?
All right. You gotta elaborate, Adam. You gotta elaborate.
Let's hear it.
What's that?
You say awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
I did not like that they did that as an opening, because it wasn't an opening kill. And I hated, like, I know like the makers of the movie kind of said like, everything in the trailer, like when you show like the final trailer, they're like, oh, it's pretty misleading or it's misdirecting stuff. And when you rewatch the trailer, you're like, no, it actually doesn't, to be honest. Like it showed a lot. And even the opening, like first of the trailer was the opening of the movie. And like, I didn't mind it. It's just, I don't like that they kind of went off and didn't make it a kill scene or a kill opening. I thought, as much as, we all love Scream 3 here, to bring back a character from the previous film to be an opening kill, I thought would have been a lot better. we had Sheriff Judy from Scream 4 come back in Scream 5, and she still died. I believe her death should have been the opening kill to set the opening up and everything. And I hated that they actually did that.
Think so? Like, so how would you do that? Would you have like just the phone ring, or would you kind of just like have like something like Cotton Wary? Like how the beginning starts off. Would you have her in the house, or would you have her in the car, like Cotton? Like,
you know what? Actually, that's well, yeah, because even in the trailer, like that one, I mean, like they still show her driving, but like her like being like really angry and screaming, they cut out of the movie. But yeah, that actually would have been interesting to you know, if he did still call her and say, hey, I'm gonna like kill your son or some shit, and maybe he wasn't there, or like maybe he was just fucking with her just so her to come home and not almost and actually change like nothing about it, because having a kill in the middle of the day right on her front porch I thought was fucking amazing. So like I wouldn't have changed like the kill scene. I wish it just would have been the opening one.
because if you really look at it, if you look at that scene, it's set up the same way as Scream 3's how Scream 3 started, with Cotton on the phone and having to rush home to save his girlfriend. She had to rush home and save her son. You know, it was just, that was like something, a little Easter egg in a certain way, trying to pay homage to that. But that was a way that they were saying, okay, well, how can we get rid of a character that we have no more use for in this film? You know what I mean? And they kind of just did the same way that Cotton. So,
but,
and then you should have made this film.
Did you see the Easter egg on the refrigerator though? When,
the lemon cakes,
the lemon squares,
or lemon squares. I'm sorry, yeah.
So I thought that was funny because we seen that in the theater, and then so I was like, Wes, we got lemon squares in the fridge. I'm like, oh my god, lady in her fucking lemon squares. Like, are these things really good? Like, I want to know. I want to try one of those lemon.
I know. I kind of want to try one of those.
Them shits are probably dry as fuck.
Oh fuck.
So yeah, so I think as far as the opening goes, I think it sounds like it could have been something different, and that might have been a little bit more pleasing. I didn't mind it, but like you said, nobody actually got killed, so that's kind of a letdown. I kind of got annoyed with the scene about like the locks, like he's like having the power struggle about, it's like, you know, that lock was unlocked for enough time that person's in your house now, so what are you doing still worrying about that?
Right.
It's like, do something. That kind of annoyed me. But let me ask you guys, so we talked about
Ghostface in that scene.
What's that?
She beat the shit out of Ghostface in that scene.
Did?
And I was that kind of turned me off right away. I was like, this girl weighs like 12 pounds and she's not.
I mean, Rose McGowan doesn't weigh 12 pounds, but she kind of gave Ghostface a run for his money in the
I'm looking like, right? You're supposed to be a killer, motherfucker. Like, what the fuck?
But she used like beers and weapons and shit. It's not like she like.
That was Richie in the beginning scene, so I think.
Well, all right. So this actually makes me wonder about that, because Josh noticed that Amber had bruises when they go to the to the hospital to visit her. So was it Richie or was it Amber? Because just because they showed the live video of Amber doesn't mean that was live, you know?
Yeah, I think so I think that was Amber.
And that might make sense why she was able to
because Richie was sitting there saying that he was with the sister.
And which we kind of know that would have been true, yeah.
Did you notice that the second time, Brandon?
Yeah. Yep.
So real quick, Adam, obviously we don't hang out or anything, but I walk in a room and I can walk in this room 1,000 times, and if somebody is in the room, I won't notice them. But you move the fucking fork 3 inches, I'll be like, hey, why'd you move that fork? And they walked into the hospital scene, and the girl had a bruise like right here, and I saw the color. I was like, why she got bruised? Like just like that, and I was like, that's right, she's the one, because she had. And
I'm not sure if that fork analogy really works for what you're saying right now, but you were right about the bruise.
Yeah, right. And then I kind of figured, but they were talking about the other kid with the bruise, and I was like, now they're just trying to bluff, you know. And that's a throw off. and I was like, it's not him because they're just throwing you off. So I don't know.
This one definitely, they tell you who the killers are. Well, at least they tell you Richie's the killer numerous times in this movie. Like
Even
numerous
Dewey.
times, people are like, Dewey says it in the beginning. They say, I think they say it in that couch scene when they're all in there. Somebody says something to him, right? She says it. She accuses him at the hospital. It's just several times in that movie they pretty much announce it, which makes you then think it can't be him.
Yeah. So, and that was the thing too. It's like, so talking about the killer, like he was like, even when I seen the trailer, like when it came out, I was like, yo, this guy's the killer. And then so like I didn't know what role he played in this film, but I'm like, he's the killer. And I thought that the girl twin was the killer also. So, and then like those are the two that I picked from the jump. And like I said last time, like they're next to each other all the time. And then now when you see the placement of the photos, like they're all set up the same way in all the photos. And then it's like Amber's down at the end, like right next to Wes. So it was just kind of like, all right. So I thought it was those two, but I was off from one killer. And Dave, I think you said Richie too.
I did say Richie, and I was kind of agreeing with you about the girl twin for a little bit. I was kind of, that second one was kind of like throwing me. There was like, I kind of wavering on that, but I was pretty sure Richie was the killer. But Josh called Amber. So that was funny that like,
Good job, man.
Adam, did you have any guesses?
So when I think when we talked about like our predictions and stuff, I think I said something about or I can't remember if I said it with you guys or with somebody else, but I was like, I'm calling it, it's going to be 3 killers. So I thought it was actually going to be the Meeks family. I thought it was going to be the 2 twins and then the mother somehow. Because then you saw her and I was like, oh shit, man. Like I thought it would have been, I wouldn't have been disappointed if it was the Meeks. Because I mean, I don't know. Like maybe you didn't protect my brother enough or like some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, yeah, I thought it was actually going to be the Meeks twins. Actually, like Richie almost seemed too obvious, and then like the more you saw the movie for the first time, it's like way too obvious. I was like, okay, because like because he was one of the most lovable characters in the movie, so I was like, oh man, like it's a bummer that like you're falling for this dude, and then it's like, oh, of course he's the fucking killer, and I think, but like when you watch it, when I watched it a second time and you just like watch it, I'm like, yeah, Amber's pretty obvious, even though I found her annoying and I don't think she should have been, but you know, yeah.
Even that body language, because you just look at the two, and then like when they introduce each other, she's like, oh, this is Richie. And she goes, hey. And then like even in the they're always looking at each other, and like when something's going on, like Amber like Richie's looking at her, he goes like that, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, these two are fucking crazy. I'm like, you can see it, and you don't catch it that first time. And it was just like the first time, like when the hospital scene when Dewey fucked her up. And then so he was just like kind of like thrown off, like, damn, like what the fuck am I gonna do now? And then so because then he sees Dewey goes back, and then he's just like, okay. And then you like the whole body language between those two, like the whole film, if you watch it the second time, you'll see it, and you're just gonna be like, wow, like these two are just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You kind of get the second killer, I think, is when they were in the car and the inhaler went missing.
Yeah.
And it was only like it was in her bag, and there's 3 people in the car. You know, did I tell what did I grab you guys for that one? Or
yeah,
just
but and I was gonna tell you, like, because when I watched it the second time, it wasn't in the car. And when they're all in the hospital room and everyone's together, and then they're saying, oh, well, come on, everybody want to give them time to be alone. And then Amber says, hey, do you have your inhaler? And she goes, yeah. And then that's when they snatched it. You know what I mean? When they gave the sisters time to be alone and talk about the situation that happened with their family. So that's when that happened. And then they're like, wow, the inhaler. I didn't think that was what happened.
Well, let me ask you guys, we talked about the new cast. Let's talk about the returning cast of characters, and how did you guys feel about seeing them again, how they were portrayed in this film, stuff like that.
Courtney Cox looks rough, man. I was crying. I was like, wow. they showed a close up of the two of them, and I'm like, I'm the
I
same
thought it was
age.
Steven Tyler.
Right here. I'm like, I mean, Courtney Cox is older than me, but me and Nev Campbell are the same age. So I think one of you, I was like, this really hurts, and you're like, why? I was like, I'm the same age, and look at them, they look.
Oh, I thought
busted.
Nev Campbell looks all right. I don't know.
I told you could see the crow's feet, and then I was like, oh
Josh,
man,
man.
I got wrinkles now. Like I don't even
Jeez.
think about my mortality, but I was thinking about it then.
We're talking about their acting skills, not the way they're looking right now. So let's go.
Gosh,
Come on.
it's not their fault. You have perfect skin.
Yeah.
These luscious locks.
Guy.
No, just the skin.
Yeah, so they're labeled as the legacy characters in this film. So, Adam, what did you think about them?
I mean, obviously we got a good bit of Dewey in this, a lot more than the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think a little underwhelming besides the end. I mean, them in the end was incredible and everything, but you know, it was a little underwhelming. I get that this is almost like a passing of the torch. Like they talk about the whole entire fucking ending and shit. So like I understood the point, but you know, it's, you know, Sydney is just, you know, she's the ultimate. So it was kind of weird seeing her not as much in it, but still enjoyed them. I mean, yeah, Courtney looked a little rough and different. You know, but you know, the whole thing at the end when she was just like fucking up Amber was just like one of my favorites, because you know, when she delivers that line, like, you killed my best friend, and then what Amber says later or afterwards, and she just fucking punches her. Like, they had very good scenes and shit. You know, but like I said, it's still, and Sydney having incredible lines, like even as much as I would have loved to see her have more, like the little line she had even at the end where Ghostface calls her and he's trying to like play with her, and she's like, I'm fucking bored of this shit. Like like there were some incredible things. And with Dewey, like it was almost like too obvious that it was coming. Unfortunately, I still believe that Amber could not outweigh Dewey. I don't believe that was her. I will die on that hill.
I couldn't believe that when they revealed that it was her that did it and not Richie. I was like, are you
nope,
kidding?
Nope. I thought that was ridiculous. But
yeah.
even though like that whole scene is actually, the way it's shot and everything, it's actually really pretty and everything. Like the way, and even that end scene with like her standing over with the two knives and like how it was just shot, it's incredible. But no, that was like one of my complaints was like, there's no fucking way that was Amber there. I will.
Everyone was saying that. They're like, look how short she is now. Like, you know, now she has the boots on. I'm like, all right, I don't know.
The same girl that got her ass kicked by a 80-pound girl took out a 250-pound man with
exactly.
Ease. Wait a minute, what?
I really liked Dewey in this one. I such a nice rebound from the character we see in 3, like where he's goofy and like laughable. And this one, I liked his progression. I liked the way they, you know, if his character's gonna die, then it's cool that they gave him like dignity and the character went out like a hero. And he wasn't as laughable. He gets his ass kicked in every film. I think we acknowledged that when we were in the theater. He always gets his ass kicked, and Gale always gets shot and like has to leave for a period of time. So they kept with that stuff, but like I just liked the way that they like kind of gave that character like some honor when he went, and I thought that was well done. I hated the fact that he went back in general. Like,
they had to though.
I know, but I just hated it. I was like, obviously he's gonna die now. Like, you couldn't just stick with the group or say, hey guys, let's just stay here for a second while I go shoot this person in the face. He had to send them off.
Yeah, you could see how everything was set up though, because it's like, all right, you know, Dewey starts off with him. You see him first. He's living in a trailer. He's not the sheriff anymore. His life is just in the pits. You know what I mean? And he seems depressed. He's watching Gale on the news, and you know, was sending the text messages, and he's like, I shouldn't have said this, I shouldn't say that. Like he missed her. And like I thought it was cool too because it had like Tatum's ashes on the fire mantle, you know, and that's his sister. And so like, you know, from all the other movies, it's like they never talked about her, but it was like that part right there. It was like, all right, let's just zoom in on that. They showed it twice, so it was just like it was cool seeing that. And then he calls Sydney. So like, all right, so you see Gail on the news. She's doing a good job. Like she's got a promotion somewhere else. And then he calls Sydney. She's with the kids, you know, she has her kids in the stroller. So she's living her life. You know what I mean? So Gail and Sydney are doing good. And so like Dewey's life is just like, it is what it is. And so at that point you could tell, like, you know, like he's got to go because these two are actually doing something. Like they're not going to kill Sydney off with her having kids and stuff like that. And so like a big part too was when Dewey called, he said, oh, hey, how's Mark doing? Mark's the detective from part 3.
I knew it. I was going to ask you who the baby daddy was.
Yeah, that's Mark.
Mr. Kincaid.
I thought it might be.
Yeah, so you know, because I was like, because after we talked about part 3 so many times and like just watching the ending, and then so like it was weird, always weird to me. It was like, why is he there? Like he goes, hey Sid, we got the popcorn, we're gonna start the movie. And I'm like, oh, is this dude with her? And so they never picked up on that in part 4, but that was cool that they kind of like showcased and everything and talked about that in this film. So we know.
I thought they were just really good friends. That's all.
Yeah, good friends.
Well, they might have been in like part 4, because like even in part 4, like she when she read Derek's Greek letters, she's not engaged, she's not with anybody, so maybe that was like her, like, you know, independent self woman and everything. And then but yeah, because I think that was kind of like more of a Easter egg with the Mark thing and an assumption, because I don't think they even say like Kincaid. I would have loved to see him in the end, just to see him like when they're both, her and Gail are sitting in the ambulance and he is just like, why wouldn't you just like run to your fucking wife? Like she almost just got fucking killed. Like that would have been just cool to another Easter egg or something to see Kincaid come back.
So
talk about the kills now.
Yeah. Yes, Josh.
Oh, it's about fucking time, man.
I've been waiting. Is it
like,
the kills? Okay. Let's do this.
Best kill in the movie. Guy in the shower.
All right. Do you want to start from the first kill?
No.
That was it. That was just like Josh's summary.
Oh, my favorite kill.
Guy in the
The fucking
shower.
guy in the alley that had nothing to do with anything.
But wait a minute. He did have something to do with it. He did have something to do with the film, Josh. So if you listen, right? So everyone, that's what everybody's sitting there complaining, saying, hey, this guy is a random kill. All right. So basically, if you look at everything and you break it down, all right, they didn't kill anyone in the open scene. All right. So they needed to kill someone to kind of get the ball rolling and the town talking again. But guess what? That wasn't a random person. That was Stu's nephew. That's Stu's nephew that she killed, because when they were talking about it, they said that was Stu Macher's sister's son.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So that was just kind of getting the ball rolling. He was a random kill, but it was like, all right, it was a way to kind of get the ball rolling. And it makes sense towards the end when Amber kind of makes a point. And plus, I think it was kind of like a way to kind of like put the blame on like one of the twins, because he got in the fight with him and he was just kind of like going back and forth. But it makes sense at the end. So we'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
Second kill.
Second kill.
Who was the second kill? No one even remembers. That's how good it was.
I think it was
that was the shower guy, right?
No, it was his mom. His mom was first.
Mom was first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I give props. The kills in this were really brutal.
Yeah.
Even the opening scene, like I was like, oh, they're going for it, and until I found out she lived, which fuck you.
Yeah.
But it was still cool. Like the mom was pretty cool. That was a cool kill. The shower was probably the best, with the knife going through the neck and shit. I thought that was badass. And getting killed in the front steps was badass. So I like that. I'm down with that.
And then, like you said, like, like certain people were surviving. So the death count was high. It was supposed to be like 8 people, and then a few people survived, and I think it was a total of 7 kills with counting the killers at the end. So so it was Vince, Judy, and then Wes, and then it was that random cop that was in the lobby that was kind of like supposed to be his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was Dewey, which we talked about Dewey's death already, but it was like you said, like everything about that was cool and it kind of needed to happen. And then it was Liv, which was kind of just like a random kill at that point in time because there's so much going on at the house party when Amber shot her in the head. Because at that point in time, I think that when she had the blood on her hands, she came in the house. It was kind of like replaying like Cotton again. Like when they seen the blood on him, she's like, "Oh, it's you." But then everybody
but first it was the football player, the brother, right? The brother got killed. Then
but
her.
he didn't die.
Oh,
yeah, he
that's
didn't
right.
die. Yeah.
But that was the point where I'm saying like people survived, and all those when you look back at it again, all the killings that took place and people survived, that was Amber.
Was that his cat?
Yeah.
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 Oh,
There he is.
There he is. Yep, there he is.
That's what she says.
Oh my god.
she said, "How dare you make fun of me, poor defenseless animal?" And you're all like mocking her.
She's my kitty.
And so yeah, Liv's character was kind of like a representation of Cotton Wary with the blood on the hands, and then it was kind of like a pass off saying, "Oh, this and that, like you're not the killer, you're too boring to be a killer," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So those lines were kind of like cool. And then it was Richie and then Amber. Those were the 7 deaths of the film.
I think when I saw it and I saw like the survivors, I was a little like kind of eye roll, like, oh yeah, right, they're really going to survive that, or why did they have them survive that? But then when you hear the news that there's a trilogy, it makes sense because I'm sure we'll see these characters come up, and now instead of there just being like one traumatized person, there's going to be like 4 or 5, however many survivors. They're all going to be like this little traumatized group that's going to be terrorized in the upcoming films, I'm sure, right?
Then they're going to be
They're
in
gonna
the part 2 where they make the
I know.
little support group, right? And they're all going to be killers, like Slashing too. There we go.
Then there was another Easter egg on the YouTube screen. We had another survivor.
Yeah.
Adam, you wanna?
I get to do the honors.
You can do that. You can.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So after I saw this, like somebody actually told me about that the second time, because who the fuck's gonna look to the right of the screen like when that funny ass stab 8 thing's happening? But but yes, after seeing it a second time, there was 2 Easter eggs. One of them was of course Kirby being officially alive, which it was awesome to see, but like I was like, well, what the fuck, man? At least give her like a small clip of the interview and shit to give her. So I was a little underwhelmed because I was like, because that was like the one thing I wanted to see was Kirby alive, and so I was like, okay, at least she's alive. And then on the bottom of that YouTube like little playlist, there's a video that says, "Is the real Stu Macher still alive?"
Mm-hmm.
So it was weird to see that, because I thought maybe it was just like the filmmakers just fucking with all of us, saying like, yeah, you really wanted Stu to be in this, but I mean, you didn't get Stu in this. So yeah, I was kind of confused on that one. I didn't really dig that too much, but yes, I got my Kirby alive, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you feel
So it's interesting to see if those are going to be 2 things that will kind of come true in the next couple of films, or if it's just in there just as something for people to point out.
Now, Dave, what did you think about Kirby surviving?
I think it's cool because, like, you know, when we were talking about like Scream 4, I really enjoyed that film and I liked most of the characters in it. So that was a character that I'm like, all right, cool. That could be a good addition. considering like we were saying, I didn't really connect with a lot of the new characters. It'd be nice to bring in a character that's kind of familiar and that was likable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it would be cool.
But like I just, huh?
Who's Kirby?
She's one of the characters from Scream 4.
Oh, I didn't watch that one. Continue.
All right. Well,
Continue.
I think it's, yeah. Well, I'm gonna. But I just think it's weird. You know what I mean? I'm like how can someone make a call from like what the crew from Scream 4 kind of like put in the film and said, hey, this is what it is. This person dies. So how can these guys just kind of just bring this character back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just sitting there saying like that's what I don't know. Like, but that's the thing, and then it adds on to like Scream 5 with all these people surviving. You know what I mean? It was just kind of a point where it's just like, all right, like it's cool to see her come back, but it's just like with so many people surviving in Scream 5, I kind of just wish that she just was dead in 4, because it's like, look, don't you look at me that way.
Come on, man.
Don't do that. But it's she's a good character, but it's, you know, I don't know, because the character that everyone wanted to see come back was Stu, and then I don't think you wanted to see Stu come back, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I would have. Well, after seeing the movie, I would have accepted like him, like kind of like coming back as the killer and everything. And after seeing the movie, I was like, yeah, he definitely maybe should have, because because a lot of this a lot of like the callbacks were it's very Loomis heavy. And even in the opening scene with Tara, when he's playing the game and stuff, like she was like, oh yeah, it's Billy Loomis, he was the killer. And the killer's like, oh no, you're wrong, it's Billy Loomis and his friend Stu. Like they kind of like make him almost so irrelevant that he wasn't even part of this shit, which is one of my gripes with it, is like, you know, after seeing the movie, like I think Sam being a Loomis should have been a killer, and Richie, as much as I loved his motives and everything, like there should have been some sort of mocker relevance more than just that one, because as much as it was cool hearing like, oh, that was a mocker that died, but then you get this whole like Billy, like, I'm not trying to downplay Billy, but like Stu was still a big part of Scream, and they almost make him not part of the story as much as Billy. And I don't know, I think they kind of put Stu to the side a lot, and they could have made him a lot bigger. And you know, Amber, as much as I hated her as a killer, like she could have been at least a mocker or like relevance to that. Like the parents bought the house, like her parents bought the house, and that was the only connection to that house. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I feel like they teased that a lot. I felt like they teased Stu so much about Scream 5, and they barely did anything. So,
because that was the thing. She was just like, yeah, my parents bought the house, and ever since I moved in, like I was hooked on the history of what happened there. So it was just like, all right, but if you're gonna put one guy in with CGI, put the other guy in too in a certain way, you know.
I did think for a little bit, I thought Stu was gonna come in and be alive somehow, and then I thought that at some point it was going to be a Stu family member getting like trying to get revenge because Stu wasn't, like you had said, he was kind of getting almost erased out of it, and it was all about Billy.
Yeah.
So I thought that was going to be a heavy motivator for why the killings were happening, but then it didn't. So.
Yep. Although, like, even as much as I don't like Amber, even as a character, she just annoyed me because she just had like a dead face the whole movie. And I actually, because Liv was also another character I really did not like that much. Like, I don't know, like I don't think she did as much development, so I didn't really care. So actually, Amber's reveal to be the killer actually kind of made me laugh. She was like, "No, I am," and then just fucking shoots her. I was like, "Okay." I thought that was kind of cool. Just like very, I thought that was kind of cool.
So you guys mentioned it already, and I want to get your opinions on it. Billy Loomis in this film. thoughts?
Why?
See, I think this is gonna be very biased.
Oh yeah.
We're four dudes watching this film, and if we were,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think any of us have a crush on Billy, as far as I know. So if this were four different people, we would probably have different opinions. And I've heard that so far, just with like even, female or some of our gay followers, like that really loved Billy. They were like, yes. And
Yeah.
so I shared this with Brandon. So this was my first thing. If she's having visions of her dad who has passed away, why is he in the same clothes in his like looking like the day he got murdered, but he's like 25 years older, like he's aged? And I get it, like, because they can't bring in Billy from 25 years ago to play this character, but at the same time, it looked bizarre to me that he's like old, and she's getting visions of her dad that she's never seen at this age because he's never been this age, and he's appearing to her. That part was like, I don't know. That's the part of me that like I couldn't grasp that, and I don't know. But that was like the biggest thing I had with it. That really bothered me. I'm like, why is he old? Can't you CGI a young Billy in here, and he doesn't even have to come in and act? I don't know.
I think for me with that whole situation, I wouldn't have an issue with it if they only showed him one time. It was getting old when he kept popping up, and I'm just like, all right, like we get it, you know what I mean? But it's cool to see them on the screen. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on it. Like, it was cool to be in the theater and experience that. But then it was just like him continuing to pop up, and then like at the same time, we didn't get Stu. So yes, I feel a certain type of way about that. So I think that if you're gonna do one, you have to do both. But I understand they had Stu's house representing him, but I don't know.
Just his house. That's all he gets. Fuck you, Stu.
I'm gonna take your house.
That's basically what they fucking did too, man. Ugh.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I had there were a few issues. Like one, remember when what is it? Fucking Doofy. He died. He got killed, and I think it was part 2, and then he came back. Like he wouldn't really die. I hated that. I hate that with a passion. And then they killed like 3 people in this movie that didn't really die. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, so in the sequel, Dewey's just gonna come back to life because he did it before. So now he's gonna come back dead next killer for sure, because he'd be like, oh, you fucking killed me, now I'm mad. You know? That's what's gonna happen. It's good.
Adam, what do you think about Billy?
I everything that Brandon said. The first one, like the first time was okay. It was kind of a nice like, oh shit, like okay. But then it got way more annoying because like I mean, I'm pretty sure that was just him. Like I don't think they did. I think they obviously just did makeup. They didn't bring in anybody. I believe that was Skeet. I don't think there was like de-aging or anything. I thought at first they just brought him in and de-aged him. I don't know.
It looked like there was like a filter on his face, but that could have been just them trying to add something to show that it was like a hallucination. I don't know.
Right.
But you're right. I don't think they really did anything to make him look younger.
No, not. And it was it was a little bit more obvious the more you saw him and everything. Like the first time was, it wasn't, I didn't bother me as much, especially seeing it a second time. I mean, I think she just bothered me more than anything, but because like even so in that hospital scene where she's getting like attacked, like when I saw it a second time, when she runs out of like one door, goes all the way around, but the door that the cop goes in to check is right there. He would have heard her getting attacked and shit. So I actually took that almost as a hallucination in itself, because that was a very loud attack and the cop was literally right outside that door. And I was like, there's no fucking way, man. But yeah, I think it would have been more effective, even if like she was hearing his voice. Like I would have actually been okay if she was just hearing his voice and like just hallucinating that way and everything. Like seeing him multiple times kind of just was the evil dies tonight of Scream. I was just like, I'm over this shit. Stop that.
I feel as though that we should have gotten the backstory, not from him saying, "Hey, are you gonna tell her?" Like, or something else, or somebody else in the community or something saying something about, "Hey, that's Billy's daughter," or something like that. Because I think that if it would have played a role, like if it would have just showed him later in the film, like that, like kind of like nodding his head when she was like stabbing him and stuff, I think that would have played a little bit more. But it was just like the conversations kind of going back and forth, like, "Oh, you're gonna tell her that you're gonna tell her the truth." And then it was coming off like Billy was kind of like a good guy, throughout the whole
they made
movie
him
now.
they made him almost a hero at the end. I was like,
Yeah.
no. And the fact that like, I mean, like I get like they did that whole the cop out of, oh, my mom's stuck in London, so like for them not to even have a flashback of maybe who it was or anything, like they didn't even show like Tara's dad, like they should. Where the fuck were the parents almost in this whole fucking movie? Like, and it seems like there's like, even with like, so with Judy, there's no, I mean, that we didn't see, there's no husband. There's almost like half parents in a lot of these things and stuff.
They died of heart attacks, Adam. Pay attention.
I'm so sorry to disappoint you.
They all died of heart attacks. All of them.
Off screen, yeah, they all died.
Heart attacks.
But it did wrote an article about them all. You missed the article.
It did bother me that like the whole like mother not even being explained almost, and it like her not even like coming at the end or anything. Like, I mean, she could have been the fucking killer for who knows. Like, it's for them to leave out a lot of stuff, it kind of was underwhelming to me.
You're hanging head in shame, Adam. I'm shocked.
Hey, trust me. Like I mean, the certain gripes I have with this movie, like I've talked to a couple of other people and they've weirdly agreed. I mean, there's a lot of people agreed with my Sam take, because a lot of people just did not like her in this movie either. I don't know if it was just they didn't like the actress or how she portrayed, because even that last line she gives before she kills Richie was one of the most cringe lines I've ever heard. I hated that so much. Like, you don't fuck with a serial killer's daughter. Just the way she did it, or how she said it, I hated it. I couldn't stand her as a main girl.
I will tell you one thing. There was two dudes sitting behind us that loved that line. I think they clapped when she said that. Was it
those two?
Yeah, so it was these two.
Was it these two?
No. So I guess this might, Brandon, unless you have another question, I was going to say maybe we should just tell where this ranks for us in the franchise.
Well, what about the big ending? We didn't discuss that big ending.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, talk about the motive.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about that. Yeah.
All right. So the motive for me, the first time I watched it, it was kind of just like, whatever. But then it was like that night when I kind of went home and like listened to it when they were saying like it's the toxic fandom, and so I was like, all right, let me think about this, because honestly, it's when I first heard it, I was like, nah, whatever. But it was good, because it was like, we talked about it last time. We're never satisfied with a way that a film is created or how it goes, and then so when you see these two, they were just sitting there saying, you know what, we wanted to go back to the first Stab movie, because they had no ideas. Hollywood is getting bored. They're sitting there doing the same thing over and over. And it's like, that's what we talk about on a daily basis. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, look, they keep doing the same thing. It's a cash grab. And they were saying every single thing, like, this is a cash grab.
Was it Stab 7 or 8 that they showed?
It was 8. Stab 8.
God.
Stab 8.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Because it was funny, because even the kids, they was like, how the heck is it on Stab 8, not 5? I'm like, well, you got to look at it, because they looked at it from Scream 1 was Stab 1 in the theater when they was watching it on Scream 2. And then Scream 3, they were making the film. They was doing was it Stab 2? And then when Part 4 comes on, all those fake introductions coming on, those count all as all those movies. And then it was like, now we're here. and so you know what I mean. So it was cool. So I watching it for the second time, it's like, you know, I definitely think the motive was done well, and like these guys were really creative with it, and like you can tell they're big fans of the series, you know. What do you
No,
guys think of
I
it?
liked the motive. I actually, it's like one of those things I think like I thought it was okay for now, and I also think like when we watch this movie in a few years, it will probably be even more relevant, kind of like what I was talking about with the motives for some of the previous films. Like they're
Yeah.
a little ahead of their time, and I think this was kind of addressing something that I think we're seeing a lot of, and we're talking a lot about, just how we're never satisfied and all these cash grabs. And I mean,
Mhm.
right now it's actually super relevant. I think we're living in it, so it's not really funny to
Yeah.
us, but like we're seeing cash grabs left and right, like,
Yeah.
and it's annoying to us. And we're still watching these movies though. Every time they're made, we're like, another one, all right, I go see it.
Mhm.
So I think it was kind of addressing that. And I think in a few years, when we're kind of like, hopefully when we're past this, we'll look back on it and be like, wow, that was kind of like a really like clever motive. The Reddit thing, you know, meeting on Reddit, that's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a Reddit for everything. I'm not on Reddit, so I'm not like as like into it as other people, but I know that's like
Yeah, it's a big
pretty
community.
like big for millennials, I guess. So I don't know. I thought it was an all right plot or motive. I didn't mind it.
Josh.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Okay.
It sounded like me. I was like, oh, fuck this. Start over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. Adam?
I think Josh is a fucking serial killer.
Kill you and then start over, Josh.
Everything is about you somehow, that, and then you're going to be a killer, I think. So, all right.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
too
you're the
old.
next one, yeah. See, that's why they won't think of it, man. You know? See.
Please, if someone gets murdered, Josh is the first face I'm like, that dude did it.
That dude did it. It was him.
Fucking Sidney Prescott's dad over there. He's the culprit.
Look at him. Just look at his face. That is him.
That is
That's a
him.
killer.
That guy murdered.
That's Richie.
I wouldn't be surprised if he ate him too. Look at him.
What
That's
the
called
fuck?
profiling. That's profiling.
Wow. Wow.
Oh man.
All right. So what did you think about the motive? You agree, Adam?
Oh yeah. I mean, as much as Amber kind of annoyed me, and it was almost kind. So I actually had to research some. Like I was curious about her age in that movie, like the character, because when they were kind of like talking to each other and they were calling each other like babe, because I'm pretty sure Richie was a little bit old. I kind of was creeped out about it. I was like, wait, she's like still high school, isn't she? Like I was like, and I mean, supposedly she was 18 as the character, so I was like, it's still creepy. So I mean, yeah, like I don't know shit about Reddit. So I guess it is relevant, or if you got Brandon, you said you know more about Reddit and stuff, like.
No, like it's just like threads, you know what I mean? Like I know if I friggin' like you Google something and then it'll pop up like a Reddit, like if you want to sit there and try to figure things out. And so it's like Dave said, it's just like it's a Reddit for everything.
Yeah.
So
So the Reddit thing made sense. Since I didn't know too much about it, so like I didn't see it as like oh yeah, that's a great motive, because I don't really understand. But if you can meet people, I guess, on there and like or something, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like
I mean, it's like a community, I guess, and I guess
okay.
it's just as toxic as every other social media. So I mean, that's kind of how I was seeing it. It's like people connected over.
Everything Richie said, like I thought that was one of the best motives out of the franchise. Like, you know, there's great franchise motives, but like his was, especially for the time and how we are in that basically right now, like, because especially in that one scene in the house when what was it, Mindy's talking about like the fandom and toxic shit, and then I felt a little hurt because when they started talking about Star Wars, because I'm a huge fucking hater of the sequel Star Wars, and I was like, oh shit, man, I'm this fucking person they're talking about.
Uh,
You and Josh are killers.
Yeah, see, dude.
you
I see
understand?
Adam. I instantly think serial killer.
You too, buddy. But yeah, just like how he delivered his like monologues and stuff. Richie, like Jack Quaid was fucking incredible in that, dude. And he was funny as shit before he like a lot of his lines before like the reveal and everything when like Sydney shoots him in the leg and he's like, well, you fucking shot me in the leg, like, and like then Ghostface pops out and he's like, holy shit, it's Ghostface. Like like the shit was, he was fucking hilarious and great in this movie, man. And so yeah, I mean, I was still disappointed with Sam, and I thought her being not a main girl and a killer would have made a little bit more sense, because she almost was. Yeah, I just did not like her, and having the whole Billy thing almost being the hero and like doing that little nod to the knife, and I was like, come on, man, that's no. I was laughing at that. I was like, there's no fucking way, man. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there was a few.
So I'm probably one of these people that are being talked about in Scream 5. I'm probably one of these fucking fans that are just.
But that's the thing, and that's what I was sitting there saying. Like me and my girlfriend were talking. I was like, to be honest, this movie is really not made for us. Like we are the legacy characters, and so we're Gale Weathers, Dewey, and Sydney. These new kids are like we watched the movie with my kids. The new kids are like my kids. This series is getting ready to run through them, but we're still there to kind of like shadow and watch it with them, you know? So that's the way I see it. It was good though, but like you said, you want to break down the rankings, Dave? Like, see where we put everything at.
Yeah. So, you know, I was when I was doing the rankings, I really do go back and forth. So I like the first one is obviously my favorite. The second spot, like part 4 and part 2 kind of can flip-flop for me. And I know that's probably like not a popular opinion because most people are pretty solid with 2. But I think I actually kind of like after rewatching them again, I think part 4 might edge out. I enjoy that one more than 2 at this point. So 2, and then this new one, and then Scream 3 for me. So this one's just above Scream 3.
Right.
That's a pretty popular one. I've heard, or like I think when people rewatch 4, there's a slow love being grown for it again and everything.
So I guess that's going to be one of those. Well, I think it's been happening for a little while now, but it's one of those sequels that's like starting to finally catch on, and that's cool.
Yeah. So like before this whole ranking thing that we had, like we said before, like we had someone that seen the film already, and everybody was kind of like putting this movie as the best movie since the first one, you know. And for me, I didn't really agree. I'm not saying that this movie's bad. I really liked it, but my rankings go 1, 2, 4, 5, 3. And I think that for 4 and 5, it can kind of go either way, because to me, both films are kind of like were a surprise to me. I didn't expect those 2 films to be that good, you know? So it can go either way. And I think I have watched 4 more times than I watched 5. Who knows? It can change down the road. But like I said, those 2 films are so close. But I feel as though that, you know, Scream 4 was based on its own film, you know, and Scream 5 is kind of like based on like all the films, and it takes so much from the first one. So that's why I put 5 in that 4th spot.
Adam or Josh.
Oh, so this one was cool, except the end, like when they, you know, I got shot, I got stabbed, and then they're just hanging out, like hugging at each other and shit. And I told Dave, when you get hit in the leg, man, there's a lot of meat in your leg. It doesn't hurt nearly as bad. as people think it does. So I forget who it was got stabbed in the leg, and they were like, "Oh, I'm dead." Like, no, you're not, man. You're stabbed in
twin.
the leg.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fine.
Chad. Yeah.
I've been stabbed in the leg, and you don't really feel it because there's so much fucking meat there. Like, what a pussy! Get the fuck up! Like, you're getting killed, and you're like, oh, like, oh, that really bothered me. That alone made it go down to the bottom. Just that one scene.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is the
but-
segment called, you know what grinds my gears?
Yeah, like, get out here.
That made it go to the
Especially,
bottom.
like, I'm a big tough football player, and I got hit in the leg. Like,
Yeah, but
and
he
then
also got stabbed. He also got stabbed like multiple times after that.
Oh, he got fucked up.
yeah, but it was after that. Like, he got stabbed in the leg, and there's a lot.
Josh
of
was
meat.
mad when he was limping. He's like, oh, stop limping.
Oh,
Ooh, come
Okay.
on.
And that kill had like basically was shot like the Drew Barrymore film, like how he came from behind him, and then it was just like they caught him right in the side. He's like, oh. I was like, all right.
The kill after the leg scene was pretty cool, but I flipped out on that scene. And then at the end, everyone, like every single one of the girls got messed up, and they're all just like hanging out, like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit in the ambulance with a gunshot wound, like. But the other guy got stabbed in the leg, and he's down for the count. So that made it go way down. I would go 1, 2, 3. I didn't even watch 4, but I have to put 5 there by default. And it's sad, like, you know what? There was a lot of good in this film. The kills were awesome. The story was pretty cool, like kept you guessing. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I'm down with that. I like the fact that it really poked fun, like, of me. Like, hey, fuck you, guy who shits on every film that comes out of Hollywood. And so that was pretty cool. I was just mad about the leg.
Just mad about the leg.
that brought it down.
That should be the tagline. I was just mad about the leg.
Just mad about
Dave, you were sitting next to me. Wasn't I like, oh, I just
We're
fucking-
mad about the leg. He's not lying.
Yeah, I was pissed.
Damn, man.
Go ahead, Adam.
I mean, it's going to be similar to when we talked about the franchise before, man. I can't really rank these, but I would say, I don't know, I might have to watch 5 a little bit. Like, it would probably be possibly my lowest, because I mean, there was a lot to love about Scream 5. There was just, I think that I went into it as like, I'm gonna see the best fucking incredible thing in the fucking world, because I'm like obsessed with this shit. So I think like I went into it maybe a little too high, so I was a little underwhelmed. I mean, it's still a Scream movie. I still love it. There's stuff that I really just could not stand about it, and I mean, there's stuff in Scream 3 that annoys me maybe, but it's still enjoyable to me. It was fun seeing Ghostface not just in Woodsboro, that they're taking it to Hollywood and all this shit. So like, there's still stuff to enjoy. There's a lot to. One of my favorite things, almost like in the whole franchise, was in the killing of Dewey, or that whole scene. They finally kind of did the thing with the voice changer, where like before she goes and turns or to talk, she like hits the button to make the voice change. And we've never seen that ever.
Yeah.
And I always wondered that, because like even in Scream 2, when like almost Mickey's reveal, and he's talking like Roger and everything, and then all of a sudden you don't see his hand or anything, you just see his hand with a knife, and all of a sudden it switches to Mickey's voice. And they never explain necessarily how they do that, but I thought that was a very cool thing that they did in Scream 5 with just pushing the voice thing. And then, so like I said, there's a lot to love about this movie. There's just I thought that the final girl should have been somebody else. I hated that they kind of detracted from the opening scene ritual that Screams always do. And the Billy Ghost. I think those are like my top 3 things, man, because I can't get over that shit. And of course, like almost making Stu irrelevant in this whole fucking story, besides that one little kid that got killed. And So yeah, I think I might need to watch it a little bit more,
Yeah.
maybe to appreciate it a little more. But it's a little lower to me, unfortunately.
How about Chad? I think he's going down as the first person to turn down getting some ass in a horror movie.
Right, man. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm not going upstairs with you. You could potentially be the killer. I'm like,
Yeah. I
Yeah.
did really actually that I'm glad you brought that up because that came up like a few times, like where they were all super suspicious of each other, and I loved that. Like when he
Yeah.
did that scene, that was hilarious, but also like thank God somebody is like making a smart decision in a horror
Yes.
movie and like
Mhm.
he went against like the stereotype of oh yeah let's just escape everybody
Yeah.
when there's murders happening. I
Yeah.
kind of love that everybody was like suspicious of each other.
Mhm.
I mean I didn't love so much at sometimes that they were like so blunt about it. It's like your friends are getting killed and you're sitting there saying it could be you. I don't think that was realistic, but like just that paranoia they all had I thought was cool. So
Mhm.
I just
Yeah, man.
I wanted to say also, Adam, like, I know that there was some disappointments with like the Stu character, but also if this is a true trilogy, the story could continue and then,
And
there
it could.
brought into it in the future ones. So we'll see.
I mean, the stew thing was kind of low on my list of gripes. I think I mean, as much as the Billy Ghost thing, like really, especially at the end, really bothered me. I just, I, I don't know. I really just didn't like Sam as the final girl. I thought as much as like she wasn't in as many scenes, like I thought Jenna Ortega, I thought Tara was phenomenal in all her scenes, like the emotions that she brought, and even like her scene, even though I'm not a fan of it, wasn't a kill scene in the beginning, like it was fantastic. Like she did amazing, and I thought she should have been kind of our new Sydney, and I think she would have fit a little bit more, but yeah. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if they continue, then I mean, do you see Sam almost converting into the killer that her dad was, or like
Sure.
so? There's possibilities.
You had the taste of blood.
but watching this film, right? You know how I would have handled this whole thing? It would have been cool because if all these kids, just like how we talked about before, just being part of that cult, like how Stu was supposed to be,
Yes.
that all these kids were planning this shit, right? Because somehow, some way, they all had something to do with Sydney. That they did all this shit to get her back into town and kill her and kind of like say, hey, this is because you killed my father, for Sam, for the twins, saying, hey, you got our uncle killed. And who else was it? Wes, I don't know. Well, he would have not really nothing to do with it at that point, but you know what I mean. But I think that
See, then that's
to
why
have that.
if the cop was the opening kill, then that would have given.
Yeah. See, see. But yeah, that would have been a cool way for them for like to sit there and just go after Sydney and be like, hey, you're out of here, you're dead, and kind of like start the whole thing over with the new trilogy. That would have been something different. It would have been crazy. But hey, it is what it is. You have to play it safe in Hollywood and kind of roll with it. But I think they did a good job with this film.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I think I don't want us to all sound like, we're saying this is a bad film because I think
No.
we're all kind of saying I enjoyed this experience. Like, it was great to get another Scream film. Just be able to go with friends and actually have like conversations like this. Like, this is awesome to be able to talk about these movies again and have them relevant again in this way. So, I would definitely still recommend to people to go check this out, make your own opinions about it. I would never tell people like, don't see this movie with anything. People should always make their own decisions. But if you're looking for our feedback, this is our honest feedback, I guess.
I'm going to re-rank it. Number 1, number 5, number 2, number 3, number 4. There you go.
That's your ranking? That's your ranking?
We'll switch it up. I'll switch it. Well, it was better than 3. You got to give it that. It was better than 3. So,
oh yeah,
I was a little peeved about the leg, but I'll let that slide.
Now that I've given it some consideration.
Yeah.
It was a little to the right. It wasn't in the same spot that I got stabbed in.
I would have enjoyed it a lot more if the seats in the theater weren't faulty.
You just broke the fucking seat, man.
So-
Dude, I was telling Dave, I'm still under 300. I put on some weight, but I have yet to go back over the 300 mark, so I'm still under 3. So there's no reason that seat should have broke unless it's faulty. That's all there is to it.
Great.
Adam, so when I went to go see it the second time, there was actually a chair that was broken in a whole different theater, and it had like a cover on it saying caution. So I took a picture of it and I said, Josh, were you here? That's not my work.
That's where you saw Spider-Man, right?
Oh man, Adam, I wish you could have seen the look on their faces. I
Holy
just
shit.
looked down and it goes crunk, like I just dropped. The seat fucking hit the ground.
Oh my god.
So, hey, Adam, thanks for coming back here, man, and joining
Thanks for
us.
having me, man.
Yeah.
And if we
I love
missed
that.
anything, viewers, don't get upset. We caught what we could catch.
Yeah.
Don't send any hate. If you like the film in a different ranking, don't get mad at us. We're not saying that this movie's bad.
No.
Mm-mm.
And
We
yeah,
like 'em
actually,
all.
if we did miss anything and you guys caught some Easter eggs that we didn't mention here, definitely let us know. Leave us some comments, hit us up on Instagram or any social media stuff. Let us know because we are definitely interested to see what else we might have missed.
Street sign that said Elm Street. So please don't say it was a street sign. You
Yeah.
guys missed that. I
We
seen
did
it.
catch that one. That was quick.
Oh, I did remember that. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That was early on.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap us up for our Scream 2022 review. So we're going to sign off. So signing off, this is Dave.
Joshua.
Brandon,
And Adam.
Have a good night.
take it easy. Oh yeah.
Yes.
And
Oh.
Deputy Judy Hicks is Wendy Peppercorn from The Sandlot, the girl that kissed Squints. That Squints kissed.
Yeah.
Take that.
And
Good ending.
she's the girl in Valentine. People definitely know
Yeah.
Valentine, but whatever.
Damn lemon squares.